Kentucky Tournament Trail. Brought to you by Heritage Pharmacy, Days Boat Sales, The Fishing Hole at Phillips Heating Hardware.
Heritage Pharmacy. Hi, Jason.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today? There you go. Thank you.
All right, we just want to welcome everybody in for the second edition of the East Kentucky Tournament Trail Podcast. Tonight we've got three great guys on. We're going to talk favorite lures, favorite lakes, maybe get a few secrets from these guys. I'm really happy to have these three guys because, three guys I think very highly of, guys that have fished all over, all kinds of different events, all kinds of different levels, caught fish everywhere. So, we're going to bounce around here real quick and tell you who we are, where you can find us at on social media, and get this thing started talking with our favorite lures. So my name's Jason Kenner. You can find me on Facebook at Jason Kenner. You can find me on Instagram at jkenner_fishing. I'm on just about every social media platform. I've got a YouTube channel that I've worked hard at, pretty proud of. So you can check me out there, JK Media. Jimmy?
Facebook. That's it for me. That's simple.
Randy?
Same for me. I'm just a Facebook guy.
Come on, Bear.
Same for me, Bear Halbert. I'm the same Facebook, Stuart Halbert.
We're old school.
Absolutely. So you can find all three of these guys on Facebook and check out their page. These guys catch fish all year, so give them a follow. Check out their stuff. One thing we want to talk about right out of the gate. Casting for Kids, Chris Ferguson scheduled the tournament for 2021. I think May 15th at Yatesville, May 16th at Paintsville. I think is what he's got on the schedule. I think the Halberts are going to sit out of that this year, so that means everybody else has a chance.
Please.
Boy, I hope you're right.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure they'll be there. It's a great cause, though. You guys,
It is.
Chris does a great thing. It supports a great cause. So, go check out their Facebook page. You can get the entry form and all that there and send that in and get registered for that tournament in 2021. We're going to take a quick break right here and hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back to talk favorite lures. Please stick with us.
We are live. Welcome to 2020 Casting for Kids Championship Sunday. What dreams is made of. Who's going to be the best between the lakes today? This is where it all starts. Right now, right here. Give you a $2,500 check and absolute beautiful trophy. Somebody give a round of applause.
At Heritage Pharmacy, we believe in community. We believe that after this difficult time, we will come back stronger than ever. In the meantime, we are doing our part to support essential workers and offer our gratitude for their commitment to the service of our community. If you're not a customer, you can become one today. Simply call 349-7733 and have your prescriptions transferred, or have your doctor send them to us. We look forward to having you as part of our family.
So welcome back, guys. Again, today we've got three great guys, and we're going to talk favorite lures. So, hopefully we're going to get some good secrets here. This should be a great segment. So, please stick with us, and we're just going to bounce around the room here. I'll start us off here, guys. Just something simple. I'm a big spinnerbait guy. You can pick these up at Walmart. I've listened to a lot of Rick Clunn. In my opinion, he's one of the best on planet Earth with a spinnerbait. One of the things that Rick Clunn talks exclusively about on these baits is the blades. A lot of us, you see the willow leaf more than anything else. He talks about water displacement. how those Colorado blades, the Indiana blades, kick off different water. I know in Florida it's something, he particularly likes just to catch big bass. I think, you saw him a few years ago on the St. John's. He put a clinic on down there with a big spinnerbait. But a couple things that I like to do, and, I'll be brief, but, for the average guy going out just trying to catch some bass, I think this is one of the best lures that you can throw. One of the things that I do with the spinnerbait, it's easy to throw it out there and just wind it back. I love to mix up my cadence. I love to run it into stuff. You guys know a spinnerbait's unbelievably weedless, when fished in the right conditions. So another thing that I'll do later on, we fish some high pressured lakes. So one of the things that I'll do, just a basic trick that a lot of other people do, I'll take the skirt off and, put some sort of swim bait on, just to give it a little different look. A lot of times, guys, I won't lie, I'll put a big willow leaf and a big swim bait. Just one of the ways I've had some success catching fish over the years. But Bear, what's one of your favorite ways to catch fish? What you got for us?
Well, the spinnerbait, now I'm a little bit different than you. I like the Colorado blades a lot. Of course, the majority of the time me and you fish totally different. I'm usually more of a dirty water type guy, and you know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
Same way, though, I feel you're not going to catch fish if you're not beating it off of a rock or beating it off of a tree limb or something like that. But, I'm more Colorado bladed oriented, because like I said, 9 times out of 10, if I can find stained water on a body, that's where I'm going to be fishing.
Absolutely. And I know, Bear, one thing that I've seen, and plug casting for kids, I went back and watched a lot of the footage of you and your son, and you guys do a lot of work flipping, soft plastics, right?
Well, normally, I don't ever want anybody to think I'm bragging. I'm probably one of the most humble people ever, but
Absolutely.
me and my son we're a good partnering team. You know what I'm saying? I usually flip constantly, and he's usually mixing it up, with a buzzbait, spinnerbait, or frog, or whatever. And I usually keep that solid flipping bait in my hand. I think that's what helps us a lot and makes us, Now obviously, if they're tearing a buzzbait up or tearing a spinnerbait up or something, we both will kick to that. But normally on these lakes around here, it's pretty tough, and we go with the 1-2 punch.
So what would you say one of your favorite soft plastics is? Somebody's going to Walmart, they're getting into fishing, they just want something they think they can catch a few bass on. What would you?
In mentioning that, I'm not even going to try to get through. I do flip a kinky beaver quite a bit, but now the brush hog overall #1, and I just read something here back about 2 months ago, that it's probably the most flipped bait. But I still, that's pretty much, that's my go-to bait when I'm flipping.
I got you. Randy, what's your favorite lure? What's something the average guy could put to work and go catch fish on a Saturday?
Easiest thing there, in my opinion, would be just a crankbait, and that would go anything from just a little John. I don't know if you can see it here, just a little John, or this is pretty hot bait right now. This is a demon colored DT6. Just a couple easy things that you can get out there, just tie on, just beat the bank and catch a few fish. One thing that about a crankbait, a lot of people, get hung up on. What you're seeing out there right now is, a DT4, 6, 8, down to a 16. Find something that'll cover, say a DT6 will cover everything shallow, where you can take a deeper crankbait and cover out there a little deeper. You don't have to have, every crankbait. You can just pick a few up and go catch some fish.
I love a DT6. That's one of my favorites. Me and you couldn't fish together, Randy, because it sounds like we like to fish the same. I'm just saying.
I like to crank. Jimmy can attest to that. I like to crank early, and I like to find, I'm like Bear. I like that dirty water. I want to find that dirty. I don't want to be looking at them when they bite it. I want them to surprise me.
One thing that I learned, guys, just coming up fishing, and especially crankbaits and cover, and you guys can probably relate to this. A lot of guys get hung up, it feels different. But, if you slow down your retrieve and just kind of walk that thing through, it'll come through a lot of cover too.
Well, that's why they sell them. You can buy 10 or 12 at a time, because you can get them hung up and break them off and just tie another one on.
I feel you. So, Jimmy, what would be your, you had a heck of a year, man. What would be your go-to lure, something, right out of the gate, the average fisherman can pick up and go catch some greenfish?
Well, I'm like Bear and Randy. I like to stay shallow. Dirty water, dirtier the better. Jig probably is my number one, that I start with early in the year, but I like the shallow crank. I'm like Randy. You can cover a lot of water. You can fish anywhere, a lot of them, from 2 feet to, down to 8 foot. Usually if I get out of 8 foot of water, I'm lost anyway. So, but, going back to your spinnerbait, I throw a double wheel leaf about all the time. No matter about watercolor, I never use anything but a trailer hook most of the time. The one thing about a spinnerbait that I think everybody on here will agree with, I don't care what time of year it is, I like to have some wind. If it doesn't matter what's going on, if I get a little bit of wind and it's pretty steady for a little while, I'm going to pick up a spinnerbait and just make sure that, because they turn on it pretty quick. They'll turn on it pretty quick. But, flipping, I like to flip plastics. I'm a water temperature guy about my plastics. I stick with the jig till the water gets in the mid 60s probably, and then I'll move up and I'll flip some plastics around.
Good deal. I know, we haven't seen the official trail schedule from Brian, as far as 2021. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to see what he puts on there. I've heard some talk of, maybe, we missed the Cumberland event last year, maybe some of those things, popping back up. So, I'm excited to see that schedule, but, let's spend just a little time. Brian will check this out. Maybe we can influence him a little bit. What's your favorite lake, favorite time of year to be on that lake? I know for me, guys, Jimmy, I'll tell you a quick story about me and Jimmy. Me and Jimmy went across Lake Erie from Catawba to Middle Bass Island.
First time I was ever on it.
The first time he was ever on it at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night after a football game. We drove up to go smallmouth fishing. And I'll be honest with you, Jimmy, that's probably one of the dumbest things I've ever done looking back.
I appreciate you taking me with you then.
and we walked out, and I'm telling you, we walk out and you walk through this, there's like a little bamboo forest. You walk through this when we first get to the island over there. And I mean, Jimmy had to think, boys, I was taking him to Deliverance. There's another story that goes with that, but it's not.
We can't talk about
We can't tell that one on online. I mean, it was madness. But anyway, so let's real quick, let's just talk favorite lakes and favorite time of year. Like I said, for me, Lake Erie in May and June, just an incredible place. I learned how to catch some walleye this year, trolling. So, now we don't just go up. They always thought we were crazy. We go up and catch fish and put everything back, and those guys, it's the walleye capital of the world. So we finally learned how to tap into a little bit of that. But Randy, hit us up. What's your favorite place to fish, favorite time of year?
It'd have to be in the spring, and it really just, I'm a Tennessee River guy. I like anywhere from, obviously we're getting ready to build us a house down on Douglas, and so I really like Douglas. But anywhere down the Tennessee River early, me and Jimmy's, we fished a lot of tournaments early, and we've had conversations here recently about where we're going to go. Find us one to go fish. Really, 2 or 3 days we should be able to figure out how to catch a few. So anywhere on Tennessee River would be my favorite.
I totally agree. Bear, how about you? What favorite place to fish?
I'm pretty much about the same. I like the Tennessee River any time, but I tell you, we've been going to Weiss for probably 30 plus years, and usually around that first week of October on top water, those 3 and 4 pound spots are just, it's pretty tough to beat. And we've been going down. My hope, we usually take a week in spring and a week in the fall and go, and we'll run over at Gunnersville a day or two. But now Weiss is absolutely, a child. You don't have to, you tie a pop-R on a buzz bait or whatever, and you're fishing walls, concrete walls. There's hardly any room for a snag or error, but it's just amazing to watch those spots come up like that. And occasionally, we usually catch one over 5 about every time we go, and have caught one almost 7. But it's, we slip off there, like I said, usually the first week of October, and that's probably about my funnest time.
I've been once. We stayed at there's a resort down there on the lake. Is that where you stay, Bear, by chance?
Chestnut Bay Resort, yes.
And Chestnut Bay is awesome, and it's one of those places you can go and take your family. You know what I mean? They've got the water attractions, and I'm sure COVID probably, hampered them in a way, but nonetheless, that's a great place to go stay. Like you said, somebody to go fishing.
Yeah, I actually have went down 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and 3 years ago, and spent my summer vacation down there. The fishing's pretty tough, but I mean, it's like you said, they've got a water park.
Yeah.
I mean, if you name it, they've got it. They're super nice people, down to earth, and yeah, we enjoy it down there.
Jimmy, favorite place to fish, favorite time of year?
Paintsville. No, I'm just kidding. Tennessee River. I mean, Tennessee River, anywhere down there is always good. I'm like Randy, springtime, you can catch them anywhere in the spring, it seems like, if you hit it right. But the thing about Tennessee and the Tennessee River and their lakes down there, it doesn't matter if it's June or July. I like to fish shallow, and you can always find shallow fish in those places down there. Tournament fishing is all I really, other than going with, coach up to Erie, which is, probably, that's no doubt the best place I've ever been as far as catching fish. It's just crazy easy to catch them up there. But, I'm a tournament guy. I like fishing tournaments, and I like fishing our local lakes. I just, I really enjoy, I like Yatesville in the summer. I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people. It just fishes to me. Take Dewey. I mean, you don't get a lot of bites, but I like lakes where I can go do what I like to do. If I've got to go somewhere and they say, Jimmy, they're catching them out here on that Carolina rig out here. Hell, I just can't do it. That's just not me. I don't enjoy that. Now, if I'm catching them, that's one thing, but very rarely you're going to see me out there anyway. But, anywhere. I enjoy all those lakes down there. I mean, me and Randy used to go to Watts Bar back when it was good, and I think it's coming back from what I hear. So, Tennessee area, Tennessee River. I like Cherokee. So, but if I was going to up and go somewhere, it'd be Tennessee.
I'm like you though, and I know Randy and Bear are the same. I love to fish a lot of our local lakes. When the bite's right and the timing's right. We're blessed to have. They're small, but
right. We're
blessed to have a lot of opportunities here locally. Speaking for myself, and you guys are the same. 10, 15 minutes, I could be in two different lakes. So it's hard to complain about that. But talking local, let's talk some local lakes. I know for me. One of my favorite times of year is mid-April on Paintsville Lake local. You may not go catch 100, but you got a chance to catch, a really good fish, I think, that time of year. So just in talking about, our local lakes, Bear, what's probably your favorite local lake? I know Paintsville's been awful good to you.
Well, Paintsville's just a time of year, though. I mean, I to be honest with you, I don't like to get on Paintsville until the spawn, until the middle of April. Yeah. I've always had a hard time down there in March and first week or two of April. There again, I think that dingier water type deal and just our type of fishing. I'll tell you one that I really enjoy and actually went last year 3 different times, just fun fishing, is the Ohio River. And a lot of people think I'm crazy. I mean, but I don't know what it is. I don't know. I love going up and fishing that river, tying that little 1.5 crankbait on. And I mean, you don't know if you're catching a crappie, a white bass, a catfish, a drum. I mean, it just, and very seldom do you ever catch one 3 pound or 3.25 pound out there. But I mean, it's a ball for us to do. And we love doing it, and normally right in the heat of the summer in June and July is when we like fishing it. But now I'm like Jimmy. These lakes around here, I just think a lot of people a lot of times don't realize how fortunate we are. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be around the fish and wildlife. When I run the golf course over at Jenny Wiley, they would always come in when they done their shocking and come in and play golf and things. And and I've seen these numbers firsthand. And I mean, you take a place like Fish Trap and Car Fork that, we just sort of roll our eyes about, but the fish in those places is phenomenal. I mean, the numbers, Fish Trap is the best lake, per numbers in Eastern Kentucky. Now, I'm not saying they're easier to catch, but I'm just going by what Fish and Wildlife marks. But we are so fortunate to have all these lakes around, like you said, that just a hop, skip, and a jump away, and different styles of lake, different things. If you like doing different ways of fishing, you've got it in these lakes.
Yeah, I totally agree. Randy, what will be your favorite local lake?
I'd have to say Yatesville. Yatesville in the spring, Yatesville in the fall for me. It's been really good to me on both sides. But, to follow up with what Bear was talking about, several years ago, we were down on the Ohio River. I think it was a bait tournament we were fishing. John Hunt and I was fishing there, and it was a real tough day. I don't think we had a couple fish, but I caught one that was 5'2", and we were dancing around on the boat, thought we had big fish, and it was the third smallest fish that day. There was two other 5-pound quality fish that were brought in that day. I mean, there's some good fish on the Ohio River.
No doubt. I used to, believe it or not, probably 8 years ago, I fished USA Bass, and Barry, you probably don't remember. I fished way back then I think that's where I first maybe met you, fishing the Ohio River down there. They'd always schedule one in June down there. So I've been on a little, but I don't know it as well as you guys. So let's take another quick break right here, and we're going to come back and talk about the trail as we look forward to 2021 and, what we see on the horizon for what's coming up for us.
Heritage Pharmacy. Hi, Jason.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today? There you go. Thank you.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thank you to all those sponsors. Thank you to Phillips, Days Boat Sales, Heritage Pharmacy, Ferguson Excavating. All those guys were big supporters in 2020. I know, one of the things that Brian wanted us to put out there, if you're interested in sponsoring the trail for 2021 or get in touch with him, you can look him up on Facebook, Brian Allen. You could add the East Kentucky Tournament Trail Facebook page. And you should be able to get in touch with him that way. No problem. But we just wanted to talk real quick about 2021. I know, Randy, a minute ago, we were talking about Yatesville Lake, and you said that was one of your summertime favorites. And just, I missed that event, but it seems like this summer you had like 8 pounds and second place had like nothing.
It was just a random bite. It was one of those days that we struggled, and, Derek caught a fish about 12:30, and in an hour and a half we ended up catching 3. That weighed right at 9 pounds. It was just one of those days that the fish weren't where we thought they were, and just kind of lucked into some. And that's one of the things I think a lot of people do. You do it more when you go, say, to Gunnersville or somewhere. You get on a fish and you just sit there and pound them. But there is some of that bite here. If you catch a good fish, you need to spend a little more time there and possibly catch another one. And that's really what we did there. We caught 3 fish out of one little area and ended up winning that day. Didn't think we would have a shot, but ended up winning.
Yeah, I know that was a tough time of year. I mean, that was right in the dog days. I was impressed with that. I couldn't believe that, somebody caught 9 pounds down there.
It was tough, but just luckily put something together. Most of the time it's Jimmy putting it together, or Bear there. Bear usually cleans her clock, and Jimmy's right there, flipping most of the time. And then back in the spring there a couple of years ago, I remember somebody named Kenner putting a big string together.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I'll tell you what though, Jimmy was on fire this summer.
Sir.
I was about to go down and just try to steal something out of his boat, to steal some of his mojo to get it in mine. You know what I mean?
Well, it ain't no secret what I've done. So
I'm just saying.
Anybody that knows me.
Nobody goes and looks at your baits on the deck, do they, Jimmy?
No, they don't have to guess. No, I don't hide it either. So, Crow gets on to me for that. But, we had a good summer. I I look back and I think, man, I didn't have a really good spring, but we had that layoff there for March, and it really wasn't right. I mean, you just didn't have anything going on, but we got on a pretty good little bite there. It left me during Chris's tournament. Of course, it always does for some reason. Bear figures them out, but I was fortunate. I really was. I had a good year. It felt good to finally, win a few again. So I was very fortunate.
I know, that was one of the things when I found out I'd get you three guys lined up to talk tonight, and having a ton of respect for you guys, because, you guys went everywhere, been all over, got a ton of experience, probably forgot more about fishing than most people know. But, looking forward to 2021 and the East Kentucky Tournament Trail, if you could get in Brandon's ear about one thing that or one place you wanted to go, or one event to add to that list, just kind of bouncing around the room here. I know for me, I hate that we missed that Cumberland event last year. I like to catch smallmouth. That's not a secret. I feel like if we can work that out this year, I feel like that'll be we'll have good participation in that event. And there'll be some fish caught. But just going around the room, Jimmy, how about you? Like, what's something that you could see on the horizon for 2021 that possibly be an asset to this trail?
I think this will be my second full year doing it. The first year I did it, I didn't stick with it all year, but Brian does a great job in his scheduling. I'm a big believer. I like turnouts. I like big crowds. I like fishing for pretty good money. I don't care to travel some. I think sometimes you can do it maybe too much. Especially late in the year, when people are, and like I said, this is just me, when you get late in the year, if you're not in that points race or something, I can see where it would deter some people from maybe going and traveling, especially, traveling is not cheap.
Right.
And we've got good enough lakes around here. I think he does a great job of spacing that out. I look forward to Cherokee and Douglas, of course, and he spaces those out. And I'm like you, Cumberland. I've not been on Cumberland in years. I took that layoff for a long time where I didn't fish, and I'd like to see that back on there. I think, I'm not knocking anything. I think it's a great event. A lot of people don't realize how good the anglers are.
I totally agree.
I'm going to bring something up, and Bear will know. I don't know if Randy was there or not, but, we went to Douglas last year, and I think it took right at 17 pound to win and 14 something to get a check. Yeah. Well, that ABA local outfit was down there, and it just took a little over 12 pound to win.
Yeah.
So, the caliber of fishermen with this group's pretty daggone good. You better be packing when you roll in, I'm telling you. But Brian does a great job. He does a great job.
Randy, how about you?
One thing I'm going to say is, and I've always said this, if you can catch fish in Eastern Kentucky, and, I find it a lot easier to go somewhere else and catch fish, on the Tennessee River or wherever, because,
I totally agree.
These up here seem like they've had 2 or 3 hooks in their head. They're pretty hard to get a bait in. But
I agree.
But I like, the Douglas Cherokee early. I like those. To me, I like going, finding that dirty water in the spring and just fishing. It doesn't really matter. I love to go, but I do like Cumberland. Cumberland's a really good place to go. And like I said, we're just thankful we've got Brian that does this for us, puts it all together and spends the time. And because it is a lot of time and a lot of work for him. And we want him to know that we do appreciate him. Much is on his plate, and we appreciate him for doing everything and just giving us a good avenue for Kentucky to go and fish.
Absolutely. Bear, what are you looking forward to in 2021 with the East Kentucky Tournament Trail?
Just like everybody else, my hat's off to Brian. I don't think people realize the time, and the effort that goes in, and especially now with the expectations of social media and posting these tournaments and my hat's off to him. He does a phenomenal job. The money, I think, is done well. The classic, something I think he was going to talk about, maybe try to do a little bit different with the money or something. But overall, like I said, my only concern is please don't put Paintsville on there until the middle of April. Please.
Come on, Bear.
Come
on, Bear.
Earlier the better, Bear. Earlier the better.
I hear you.
I mean, I'm
I
with you.
won't argue. Talk to Brian. He does a fabulous job. He sure does.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, I can't imagine the phone calls, text messages, you know, instant message that he gets, you know, especially the week of an event. What's off limits? Where can we fish? You know what I mean? So I'm 100% with you guys. You know, you just can't thank him enough for his time and effort. You know, and that's one thing that, you know, if you want to join the East Kentucky Tournament Trail, you know, like these guys have said, it's an incredibly competitive group of fishermen. You know, if you want to join the trail, the first thing I would do is go like the Facebook page. It's East Kentucky Tournament Trail, really easy to find. When you get over there on the Facebook page, I know Brian said he's going to come out with the schedule, I think this month. So, you know, that schedule should be available soon. You know, and at the same time, if you have a local event, you know, I know we talked about Casting for Kids a little bit, May 15th and 16th, Chris Ferguson's event. But, you know, if there's some other local event that's going on that you want us to talk about here on the podcast or, you know, maybe post about, you know, please let us know. We'd be happy to share that information here. You know, there's a ton of great people that run some events for great organizations like, you know, Little League Baseball or whatever. So we'd be happy to talk about that stuff right here. But I just want to take a minute and thank all three of you guys for taking the time to sit in with us tonight, talk some fishing. I know it's January and we've all probably fished ourselves to death in our mind, you know, thinking about the spring and the upcoming spawn and actually been able to get out and wear a T-shirt and catch some fish again. You know, it's exciting for me, but, you know, really appreciate you guys taking the time to spend a few minutes with us tonight.
Well, thank you, Jason, for doing this and just getting the word out and keeping everybody excited about fishing. And it's just something that we all love. And, you know, we're if we're not fishing, we're thinking about fishing. So
that's the truth.
So we appreciate you doing what you're doing.
Randy won't hardly come in. You know, I work with Randy's wife at Paintsville High School, but he won't hardly come in school anymore because I melt his ears about how he caught him last weekend or where we can catch him at next weekend. You know, I'm like you, Randy. I just love to talk about fishing. So
we just, you know, my ears are probably red, Jason, because I'm probably lying to you about what I did. So
that's all right. I've known Jimmy long enough. I've been
there. You go.
Well, that's who I learned it from. That's who I learned it from. Jimmy put me in the boat with a 33 throwing a hubcap spinnerbait out there on Paintsville Lake. That's how I got started. So it's Jimmy's fault.
You know,
yeah, Crow says I'm good at telling the truth.
Tell it too much, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, that was one of the goals, you know, when we started this podcast. We're going to try to, you know, do it at least once a month, maybe a little more frequently, you know, when the trail gets hot this spring, and, you know, try to get some guys on here and just talk fishing. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I saw BASS is on FS1 now, and, you know, it seems like the sport made a great push in 2020. Just overall, I know, speaking for myself, I watched more live streams this year than I've ever watched. You know, there was nothing else to watch. Let's be honest. But they're doing so much better with the live streams. It's entertaining. You know, I'd sit there and watch it 8 to 4, guys, and it'd be a grind. So yeah,
well, you get to watch the whole show. You got to watch everything, not just your average, you know, your show where they're showing you catching them. You're seeing all the work that they're putting in and what really takes place in a tournament day, and the
decision-making process. That's know, I mean, I don't know about you guys. My mind, I'm fishing one spot and fishing 10 others in my mind, and that's probably the hardest thing to, you know, control about what we do is the mental aspect. You know, it just has such a deal to do with your outcome and your success. But, you know, again, we put this together every month just to try to build the sport, talk about fishing. You know, hopefully we can start to draw the average person in, just, you know, learn a little more about bass fishing, you know. And, you know, again, I just want to thank the three of you tonight for spending a few minutes with us and sharing some secrets. But look forward to seeing everybody out on the trail this spring and hopefully out of the house, out of these lockdowns and quarantines and all this madness. Hopefully this will all be over in 2021. But
won't be long, I hope.
Yeah. Appreciate you all's time. Appreciate everybody watching. Go ahead, Randy. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say thanks, Jason and Jimmy and Barrett. Good to see you guys. We haven't been able to see each other, so good to see you guys.
Good to see you all too.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking.
Hey, Jason, I want to say something about you too. These videos and things, man, are. I mean, I don't know. They can call me young at heart or whatever, but I mean, I always go back and watch the videos of what we've done. That's one of the reasons that we got our little camera and do what we do. I know that sounds crazy or whatever, but mean, but to see those videos that you do of going to Cherokee or going to wherever, and you've got, I mean, that's absolutely amazing. I mean, and if I understood it right, if I read it right, I think Ranger even put you on one of their cast. I mean, and I know that takes time, but I'm telling you, I appreciate you doing that too. And don't think it don't go unseen or unwatched, because now I love it.
I appreciate it, Barry. You know, it's a hobby. It's what I do with my day job. You know, I kind of started doing, you know, high school athletes and highlights. Jimmy knows, you know, I kind of made a name for myself doing some of that. And, you know, it just kind of coincides with the hobby of loving to fish, you know. So, you know, it's something that I've worked on. I continue to work on. So I really appreciate the kind words. I know, you know, and you and your son, two people that I've always looked up to locally, you know, just out catching fish. I mean, one day I hope to get my video skills on par with or my fishing skills on par with yours, and then I can make some real good videos. But
you're there. I think you showed that this fall.
He does. He does a great job.
And I seen some pictures this spring from down at Paintsville also. I even
he let his little secret out, I believe.
I think he did too. I think he did too.
Put a little too much on that video, didn't he?
Yes.
You know, though, I'll be honest with you. You know, it's a lot of people tell me that, but you know, I work in high school, and I'm gonna tell you something, and I'll end it with this. You guys have all been around, you know, the young kids. You know, Bear fishes with his son. My son's just not into it yet. I hope he comes around, but you know, Jim, you can relate to that. Neither one of your boys really, you know, they're more golfers, I guess, and weightlifters, you know, I just love it. You know, I'd love to fish. You know, there's nothing else I'd rather do. So, but anyway, I appreciate these guys stopping in tonight. You know, check out this podcast. We'll be on next month. Going to try to do some more great stuff, put out some great media. You know, Bear, one thing you mentioned, I'm going to post another video this week. I've been working hard on it over Christmas break. I'm going to drop a video. I've got 5 biggest fish catches from 2020. Caught them all on camera. It's just, you know, pretty cool little segment. But, you know, if anybody wants to check that out, that'll be on my YouTube channel this week. You know, again, please tag a couple friends down in the comments. Let people know about this podcast that we're doing every month in an effort to grow this. Every like and share that you could give us really helps us grow and, you know, get our word out there. But, you know, appreciate you guys taking the time tonight. Had a great time talking fishing with you. And we'll see you out there on the trail real soon.
Appreciate it, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
You all appreciate you.
All right. See you guys.
Heritage Pharmacy. Hi, Jason.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today? There you go. Thank you.
East Kentucky Tournament Trail. Brought to you by Heritage Pharmacy, Days Boat Sales, the Fishing Hole at Phillips Heaton Park.